Want to cash in on the booming EV charging industry, but don't have millions to invest? Starting a DC fast charging business might be easier and more affordable than you think. Let me show you the basics of how to get started without breaking the bank. Mostly everything that I've been talking about so far on this channel has been about level 2 EV charging. There's a few reasons for this. I'm definitely going to get deeper into DC fast charging, and today is the kickoff point. But I started with level 2 because it kind of makes sense even if you are starting your DC fast charging business. A lot of the setup for either business is kind of the same at the beginning, except with level 2, there's just a much smaller investment up front, and I guess the risk is a lot lower because you still need to find a location, you still need to figure out the electrical requirements, you still need to find a software provider, a hardware provider. A lot of the bare bones are pretty similar. It's just everything costs a lot less with level 2 charging. But DC fast charging is so exciting because the potential to make way more money is there for sure. You can make way more money with DC fast charging, but with more profits also comes a bigger upfront investment. So today, let's just take a bird's eye view look at DC fast charging, go over some of the basic points and what to look out for. And I'll touch on some pretty valuable tips that you might not know when it comes to starting your DC fast charging business. If you drive an EV or you know a bunch of people that do, they'll probably tell you that they love DC fast chargers. And there's a bunch of reasons for this. The biggest reason is they're fast. They charge your car way faster than level 1 and level 2. Now, there's different speeds of DC fast chargers, which I'll get to in a second. But generally speaking, you can usually say that a DC fast charger will power up an EV in about 20 to 30 minutes. But with speed comes costs. So yeah, it is faster, but you're also going to be paying a lot more. I remember one of my old bosses used to say there's three things, but you can only pick two: either cheap, fast, or high quality. And if you choose two, you're not going to get the other one. I don't know if this exactly applies to this scenario, but basically with DC fast chargers, they are faster, but they're also more expensive. But because they're more expensive, you can also make a higher profit being the owner of the DC fast charger. Okay, just to step back a little bit before I get ahead of myself, what is DC fast charging? Well, just to give a really basic example, there's three levels of EV chargers. There's level 1, which is AC, and it's used at home. These are quite slow. Usually they're 120 volt. Then there's level 2, which is kind of my bread and butter, and these will charge a car in 6 to 8 hours, depending on so many different factors, but let's just say 8 hours. And then there's DC fast charging, and DC fast charging, I've referred to it as level 3. Some people get mad when I say level 3, but it's just because I'm trying to give an overall idea of the concept. There's three levels, but technically it's called DC fast charging. And the big difference here is it uses DC power instead of AC power. I remember a while back, I listened to this podcast, and I don't know, I always think about this podcast. It was super interesting. It was about the battle between Nikola Tesla and his DC power and Thomas Edison and his AC power. And AC being alternating current and DC being direct current. Now, I'm not an electrician or not even that smart when it comes to electricity, but as far as I understand it, there's definitely pros and cons of each. And at this point in time, they were battling over which one was going to be the dominant form of electricity in our cities. And we ended up going with AC power mostly because it's safer. Direct current is really powerful and it's a lot more dangerous, especially if, it comes in contact with human beings. But with electric cars, we love DC because it's super fast. There's one other aspect of EV charging that I haven't really gone into too much because I'm trying to keep things, interesting and more high level. And this has more to do with the engineers and not the entrepreneurs. But technically, the charger is actually inside the EV. What we're talking about is the EVSE, which is the electric vehicle supply equipment, which feeds the electricity into the charger, which is inside the car, that then powers the battery. I mean, this is all super technical stuff. It's not really what my channel is about. I'm more about making things easy, making money and saving money on EV chargers. But yeah, if we want to go into it, the technically the charger is actually inside the electric vehicle. And why DC chargers are special, because when the power goes through that charger that's inside the EV, it has to it takes time to go through the charger, then goes into the battery, right? Well, with DC charging, it skips that process. It bypasses the internal charger and goes straight into the battery, which makes things way faster. Now, there's some downsides with DC charging. People say that, it's a little bit harder on the battery. The battery has to receive power a lot quicker, which might affect the longevity of the car long term. But hey, when we need a charge, we need a charge, right?